Happy Friday. Joyful, joyful Friday. It's your girl, Jamila, CEO Banks, tuning in from the IE, the Inland Empire, California, Southern California. Hopefully everybody is doing well this Friday. I have a quick message to share before I jump into my next session. We all have doubts. We all have insecurities. We all have fell short from our plans, our goals, our outcomes, and oftentimes when things don't work out, oftentimes when we feel like we fall short, oftentimes when we feel disappointed in life and how things turn out, we can fall into a rut. We can get into the mindset of nothing ever goes well for me, nothing ever goes good for me, nothing ever works out, things don't go as planned, and we can get into a downward spiral. I don't know if I'm talking to anybody out there, but it has happened. I've seen it happen before my very eyes. I think in times and spaces of my life, I've gone into some spirals like that myself. And so I am just encouraging you to believe in yourself again. I am encouraging yourself. Oh, I'm nice and shiny, good and moisturized. I'm encouraging yourself to dream again. I'm encouraging yourself to go for it again. Even if you failed, even if you fell down, even if you're in a season of lack or disappointment, things haven't worked out as you planned. I'm going to encourage you today, November 1st, 2024, the first day of November. I'm going to encourage you to dream again, to believe in yourself again, and to have confidence in yourself again. Now, really quick, because I got 5 minutes. This is how I want you to do this. When you get into that spiral of things never work out, man, it's not going to happen. I'm just so disappointed. I'm not going to even try. When you get into that mentality, I want you to pause and I want you to go back. Think about when you were a child. Think about when you were in elementary, middle school, high school. Think about when you were a young adult. Just look back a little bit. Take about 5 minutes to reflect and think about, has something ever worked out for you? Have you planned something and it went well? Have you ever succeeded in anything? Have you ever overcome anything? Oftentimes we think in black and white, things don't work out. I want you to sit and take about 5 minutes to reflect on a time when things worked out. Because if we sit and take the time and go back, even if you have to go back to high school, your 20s, your 30s, even if you have to go back and look at, did anything ever go right in your life? Did plans ever come together? Did you succeed at anything? Did you overcome anything? Have you gotten through anything? Most often, if you take about 5 to 10 minutes and think about that, you'll start thinking about things that you overcome, things that have worked out, things that have came together, plans that succeeded, goals that you accomplished. If you really think about it, and you can uplift your mindset, you can uplift your mood, you can restore your confidence. So quickly, just using examples, as I always use examples, there was a time in my life where I didn't know my dad. He was out of my life about 4 or 5, and he had mental health issues. The last time I saw him, maybe about 4, 5, or 6, he looked like he was homeless. He looked like he was struggling. I think I was kind of scared, and I was like, well, who's that? And my mom is like, oh, that's your dad. And I'm like, oh, okay. And, he just wasn't in my life. I think one time around 7, I was playing in the front yard and I saw him drive by or something. I thought that I saw him drive by and I was so excited and I was like, Dad, stop. And I went in the house and I'm like, oh my God, I saw my dad. Why he didn't stop? And the reason why I thought it was my dad, because I saw pictures of my dad. My mom had an album. They got married, she had photos of him. So I knew what he looked like. So I was all excited and my mom was like, well, I don't know if that was him, but if it was him, if he's in the right mindset, one day he'll stop by and talk to you, don't worry about it. I applaud my mom because all my life she did not bash my dad. She did not talk bad about my dad. She did not make me feel like my dad was evil, a bad person or anything. She just told me when I was younger he had mental health issues, he struggled. when I got to be about a teenager in my 20s and I had questions about my dad, my mom was like, if you want me to help you find your dad, I will. You know, I have a lot of things that I've gone through with him, but I won't hold that against you and his relationship. And then when I had my first kid, and, you know, I used to have conversations in my 30s, 20s and 30s with my mom. She would always tell me stories about my dad, and more like stories about his mental health and his challenges and his issues and things like that. So she told me more as I grew. Still never bashed him, still never talked down on him, still never talked dirty about him. Actually told me that he was one of the loves of her life, and that she loved him, and that, you know, he really just struggled with a lot of mental health issues and emotional issues and environmental things, and struggled all his life. But if I wanted to find my dad, that she would help me find him. So I always had a dream in my heart about finding my dad and about connecting with my dad ever since I was little. And, you know, I just never happened, and I just pushed on, moved on, and just didn't. It was a dream in my heart that I have, though. And then one day, about 34, 35 years old, I'm at the gym working out, and I'm coming home, and I get an email from a cousin like, hey, I'm your cousin. You know, this is my dad. This is your dad. Your dad's been trying to find you. You know, can I give him your information? And I ran into my mom's room and woke her up, because at the time I stayed with my mom. And I was like, hey, Mom. And he had pictures, and I was like, this is my dad. Is this my dad? And she's like, yeah, that's your dad. She's like, okay. So I was like, I want to meet him. And she was like, okay. So he emailed, and she was like, well, the first meeting, I want to make sure he is mentally stable and balanced, because, you know, I don't want you to be hurt. So she came with me to lunch, and 3 of my kids at the time were born, and I think 2 of them came, and we met my dad. I met my dad the first time, like, as an adult throughout my life at like 34. And I was so thankful and grateful my mom didn't bash him to cut off that relationship. It was a dream come true. And it's something that actually worked out in my life. I dreamed of meeting my dad, and I finally met my dad. And I had a great year with my dad, and we got to know each other. You know, unfortunately, in 2018, my mom passed away, and, you know, my dad kind of disappeared. And I was like, well, where is my dad? You know, it's time for him to step up in his season. You know, Mom is transitioning. He found me. You know, I couldn't locate him for a few months after my mom passed away. And unfortunately, he had some more mental health issues, and he was incarcerated. But thankfully, I still kept the space open of that dream in my heart of getting to know my dad. And for the 5 years that he was incarcerated, he called me, we wrote letters. You know, we really got to know each other. I have hundreds of letters from him. We got a lot of time talking. He got to know my kids and my husband. And I appreciated that dream come true. And I was so excited last December when he was getting released, and when he was coming home after 5 or so years incarcerated, and he got out, and he was so happy to talk to me. Unfortunately, he had to stay in the program that he had to stay in, so he couldn't see me for like 90 days. But he was just so excited to get out and meet me again, you know, and meet the kids again, and really be a grandfather and really be a dad. And it was like, again, dreams coming true. I had my dad in my life. I got to know my dad. I knew who he was. He knew who I was. And I really appreciated that. Unfortunately, his mental health issues got in the way again, and he struggled and was out in the street one day and got hit by a car and transitioned this April. So even though the dream that I had in my heart from 6, 7, 8, and 9 looked like it wasn't going to come true all my teenage years, all my adult years, the dream did come true, and I did get to meet my dad, and I did get to spend time with my dad. It looked different, you know, it wasn't how I expected, but that was a dream come true. You know, another time I was living with my mom. You know, my landlord had just passed away, and we had to move in with her to settle and get some things. And I didn't know where I was going to go. And I went to a vision board party and put some visions on there. And this was like in 2016, a vision of my house, a vision of my car, a vision of my family, a vision of my businesses, travel, things like that. You know, dreams that were in my heart that I wanted to come true. I laid it out. I wrote it out. I put it on the vision board. That was about 2016. 2018, I moved out into the IE. I moved into a home, started working, doing my thing, and then about 4 years into being out here, I moved into another home. And one day I was walking on my treadmill, looking on my vision board from 2016, and I saw on my vision board the house that I had the exact rooms and bathroom space that I had drew, that I was living in, that I was walking on my treadmill in my office. It had the exact number of bedrooms. It had the exact office. I'm like, wow, I'm living in my dream come true. This was like 2021, 2 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, because it's 3 years I've been living in this dream house. 3 years. Yesterday made 3 years since I've been living in my dream house. The dream I had in my heart, I dreamed in 2016 and put on the vision board. And I've realized in 2021, 2020, like I'm living in my dream house. The car that's parked outside in the driveway of my office, it was on my vision board. Now, mind you, the GLS 450 is the baby of the GLS 63 that was on my vision board. However, in 2019, 2020, when I was driving that whip, once again, I looked at my vision board and I'm like, wait a minute, I am driving my dream car. I'm driving my dream car. I looked at my vision board. Hawaii was on there. Wait a minute. I went to Hawaii earlier this year. Wait a minute. 2 years ago, I went to Hawaii with the family. I started looking at my visions and my dreams from 2016 and 2017 when I didn't even know how I was going to get there. I didn't know the how. I didn't know the when. I just knew I had this dream in my heart and I was going to have this dream and dream this dream. And even though up, down, all around from 2016 till now, things have happened and I've gotten discouraged. However, some of my dreams have come true. Some of my plans have worked out. Some of my goals I have accomplished. I wanted to graduate from graduate school and be a therapist, and I am a therapist. I wanted, when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, to run multiple businesses and help people, and I run multiple businesses and help people. I wanted to have a big family, and I have 4 kids and a husband. So although I have setbacks, I fell down, I've made mistakes, things have happened, it encourages me because I can look back from 6, I can look back from teenage and 20s and 30s, because I'm about to be 42 on Christmas. Don't look a day like it, though. And I can look back and I can be encouraged because some of my dreams have come true. So I'm encouraging you today, if you're disappointed, if you're upset, if you're in a state of lack, if you're in a state that things don't work out and things don't happen, take 5 to 10 minutes, write it out. Think about when things have happened for you. Think about when dreams have come true. Think about when plans have come together. Think about when you have accomplished those goals and go out and get it. Respark your vision. Write down what you want out of November and December and January. Those are short-term goals. 30, 60, 90 days. Write it out. Make a vision board. Make it plain. Before I go, let's see. Let's check this out. These are some of my visions for, these next couple of years, and some of these have come true, and some of these will come true. Make it plain, write it down, be encouraged, mind, body, and spirit. And if you want to hear some more tips and tools, I'm going to encourage you to come on my page today at 3:30 on my Instagram, ceome.llc. I'm going to be partnered with Mindful Balance Journey. And again, that's CEO Me LLC. I'm going to be partnered with my partner, Frankie. She's a master certified mindset coach. And we're going to be collaborating on tips and tools for mind, body, and spirit to get us through the holiday season, to get us being from overstressed to flowing through these holiday seasons. How do you deal with stress during the holidays? How do you balance during the holidays? These are things that we're going to talk about on my live today, on our live today. So check me out, ceome.llc. It's your girl, Jamila Banks, CEO Banks, Dr. Banks. Have a great day on purpose. What's up? What's up, ADT? I have to go, but I hope you catch the live. I have to go to my session now, but nice to see you, bro. Hopefully you and the wife, you are doing well. Love and peace.